Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road. They're in Quezon City today, and before they can start apprehending people and begin the operation, they have to coordinate with the barangay. So that's what they're doing right now. They've taken the coordination letter inside and it has to be signed either by the barangay captain or a kagawad. After that they'll begin operating. While the coordination with the barangay is ongoing, some people have been walking around and warning residents. I don't know if they're barangay tanods or what they are, but hey, move your vehicles before the MMDA begin their operation and ticket you. This is an example of why it's probably better to simply send the letter in advance, maybe 2 weeks before, and then don't give a specific date that you'll be operating, because by the time they begin operating, all of the illegally parked vehicles will be moved and this whole operation will be a waste of time. When the team got here, the drivers of these trucks were already starting to move them, so somehow they also became aware of the operation, but they are being apprehended now. And over here there's a gentleman riding without a helmet, so they've pulled him over to the side. They're asking him now for his driver's license so they can issue a ticket. They're now on Araneta Avenue. They're issuing a ticket to this one for obstructing what should be the sidewalk, and they just issued a ticket to this one for the same reason, obstructing what should be the sidewalk. And they're now issuing tickets to these vehicles here. There's a little lay-by area, but it's meant to be used as an emergency bay, not as a parking area. They flagged down this motorcycle because the back rider isn't wearing a helmet and the driver's wearing a construction helmet, which is not considered as a valid motorcycle helmet. And the team just issued tickets to these two vehicles over here, and they also issued tickets to these 3 vehicles here parked in the emergency bay. You'll see it's been left on the windscreen, unattended illegal parking. And if you look on the windscreen of this vehicle, you'll see it's also been left with a ticket for obstructing the sidewalk. I know you might say, hey, there's a post there. Yes, but pedestrians can go around that post, but if there's a car there, they have no choice but to walk in the road. So they're now moving on to Palanza Street. And something I've noticed in this area is a lot of the roads are gated off. And over here another ticket being issued. Unfortunately, a lady on the back, no helmet. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this one parked on the sidewalk. And over here they're issuing a ticket for the same reason, obstructing what should be the sidewalk. If a pedestrian comes along here, they'll have to go in the road. What more if they're in a wheelchair? And just next to that car is a tricycle and motorcycle, both parked on the sidewalk. The problem they're going to have with this one is it doesn't have a plate, so unless a driver comes out and gives a license, they won't be able to ticket it. And unfortunately they don't have tow trucks at the moment. And the same problem with this one over here, there's no plate, so unless a driver comes out, they can't ticket it. Unfortunately, that guy without the helmet did manage to get past the team. Furio's now talking to the barangay about this outpost. He's saying since it's not being maintained and not used for its intended purpose, it should be removed. If you look at the floor, it's already rusted through, so no one can stand there. And it looks like they've just been using it as a fire pit, because you can see there's some remnants of a fire down here. So obviously they're not using this for what it's meant to be, which is securing the barangay, an outpost. So remove it from the sidewalk, no need to obstruct. The barangay have now told Furio that they'll be the ones to remove it later today. Hopefully they'll follow through on that. And over here they stopped another motorcycle rider, unfortunately not wearing helmets, so they're issuing a ticket and advising them to push the bike until they get helmets. Over here they're issuing a ticket to this one for illegal parking, and over here they're issuing tickets to these 2 tricycles parked on the sidewalk, and they'll also be issuing tickets to these 3 tricycles here, fully obstructing what should be the sidewalk for pedestrians. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this gentleman. Unfortunately he wasn't wearing his helmet, it's just hanging from his elbow. Here comes 2 motorcycle riders, both without helmets. They'll probably be apprehended. They're just asking now for the driver's license, and same thing over here, asking for the license. So they've just arrived at another barangay now for coordination, and I have to say the streets around here are super congested. There's parked vehicles on both sides of pretty much every street, so coming here was quite difficult. Another thing that's super common in this area is eateries are using the sidewalk for their business, or even stalls selling food and fruits and things like that. So yeah, this barangay definitely is going to take a lot more work than the previous one. And actually you'll see some people already starting to take down their tarpaulins to avoid confiscation. This kind of thing should really be done by the barangay. There's no point bringing in the MMDA, putting on a big show as if you're doing something, and then as soon as they leave, all the mayhem comes back. It's a complete waste of time and resources. So they just finished their coordination with the barangay, and this is where they've brought the team. You'll see there's a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. There's even a basketball hoop installed on the sidewalk. Over here you'll see they took down that basketball hoop. It's loaded on the back of the SCOG truck. And over here they're looking at this jeepney parked on the sidewalk. absolutely no way to pass, and they do have a one-side parking scheme here, so all of the jeepneys are parked in the road, they're not going to be ticketed, but this one parked on the sidewalk will be. And the same thing with this jeepney over here, it will also be ticketed for being parked on the sidewalk. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this one parked on the sidewalk, and over here they're issuing a ticket to this jeepney for obstructing the sidewalk, and over here they're looking to issue a ticket to this one for parking on the sidewalk. If you hear all that noise in the background, it's the Barangay and the loudspeaker reminding residents about parking rules. Look at this guy texting. No one else saw it though. I'm not actually sure why the Barangay asked the team to go to this specific street, because there's not much here. This is a one-side parking, which means most of these cars are actually allowed to be here. Why didn't they take the team to those streets where they were a few minutes ago, where it was super congested? Just flagging down this motorcycle now. Unfortunately, a lady on the back, no helmet. Just bad timing that they passed through, because any other time there's no way they would have been stopped by a fixed post enforcer. And the enforcer's just moving in now on this tricycle. He'll issue a ticket for parking on the sidewalk. Over here you'll see the sidewalk's been taken over by eatery place. I saw the residents out here a few minutes ago taking the stuff over to their house. Of course they want to avoid confiscation. Same with this guy over here removing his stuff. And well, the reality is they'll move it now, and then once the MMDA leave, they'll bring it out again, because of course the Barangay aren't going to stop them. They're not going to do anything. Same thing over here, someone's extended their shop from their private property onto the public sidewalk, so they're just taking that inside their home now. Interestingly, the service being used by the Barangay today, these electric vehicles, they're also Star 8, which is the same as my e-bike that was given for testing. And currently that e-bike, if we go over here, you see it's been ridden by one of the enforcers because his bike is broken, so I said go ahead and use the electric bike. A lot of people don't actually believe it's an electric bike because it looks like a big bike. Over here the sidewalk clearing team are breaking a chain. There's some jeepney doors tied to this post. Actually all the way along this street there are jeepney doors tied to various fences and poles and things like that. It's quite common wherever you have a lot of jeepneys that are parking, you'll find the doors are also being stored. They just flagged down this motorcycle here, both mummy, daddy, little child, no helmets. Unfortunately the man has abandoned his bike here. He refused to give his license, so they could actually add extra violations: no helmet, excess passenger, dress code violation of slippers, illegal parking, obstruction for being here on the pedestrian crossing, refusal to surrender driver's license. We've one very expensive ticket. Even with all the enforcers here, this driver just pulled up, parked his truck right on a pedestrian crossing and obstructing the sidewalk. Again, there's one side parking allowed in this area, so none of these jeepneys will be ticketed for obstructing the road. This owner type jeepney is parked on the sidewalk. The problem is there's no license plate, which means it can't be ticketed, and they don't have any tow trucks, so they can't take it away. Unfortunately right now, no plate means no ticket. You see the sidewalk here, how wide it is. This is probably the original, and then at some point they figured, hey, we need some more space, so let's extend out. And the property actually goes inside, so it's not just here, it does go inside. But yeah, I mean, of course everybody must have seen this being built. The Barangay must have been here and saw it. They might have even helped to build it, but that's how it is. Anyway, over here is another Star 8 e-tricycle. These ones were donated by Shopwise, I believe, although all the branding has been removed from that one. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting them to actually do anything about this one, but they are cutting back the extension. They're not going to knock down everything, but that bit that extends a little bit further than the rest, they're cutting it down. They're also having these residents self-demolish and clear the area in front of their home. Again, it's a much narrower sidewalk compared to what it used to be. This one over here actually looks like a relatively new construction, and this is the way it happens. People extend a little bit beyond the original wall, and then if nobody stops them, if the Barangay don't say anything, a year later they do the same again, and then a year later they occupy the whole sidewalk no more. So you'll see they just finished removing that extension. The only thing that remains is the roof on top. It's not everything up to the wall, but it's a little bit that's been removed. And here's an example why pedestrians walk in the road instead of the sidewalk. See how flat it is here, and then when you get this far, extreme angle so that they can use it as a ramp for their vehicles. And this is why honestly pedestrians just give up and walk in the road, because at least in the road it's flat. But here, look at this extreme angle. Nobody can walk on this. I mean, aside from the fact that these cars are actually obstructing it, the extreme angle makes it unusable to the average pedestrian. Anyway, they're asking the drivers to come out now so they can issue them tickets. Illegal parking obstructing the sidewalk. Unfortunately, this vehicle has no plate, no conduction sticker, and no driver, which means they can't ticket it. If they had a tow truck, they would take it away, but they don't. Over here, they're asking these employees to go inside their private property instead of doing their business here on the sidewalk, obstructing it from pedestrians. Plus, they're doing it right next to the sewer, so of course all of their waste is going to drop inside there. This street here also has a one-side parking scheme, although it's meant to be for residential use for people that come and go between work. Whereas what this is actually being used for is repairs. You can see this one is here for repair, this one's here for repair, that one on the sidewalk is for repair, this one here is being worked on, same thing over here. So actually it's a business that's using the sidewalk. All of these over here also, and well, I don't know, Barangay say one-side parking scheme, no ticket, then no ticket. You'll see the same thing actually continues all along this road. Cars are here for repair, so it's really a commercial use. They're using the road to make money. You'll see more vehicles are being worked on over here. There are signs that say no parking this side, but there's a lot of vehicles parked here. I'm not sure if the Barangay are going to lead the team down here or if they're just going to take them on another empty road. I guess we'll wait and see. There's also vehicles parked on this side. You'll see this vehicle here has been dumped, parked on the sidewalk. It's missing a wheel at the back. And they're issuing a ticket to this vehicle now. What kind of parking is that? This is a corner and this vehicle's parked here. Absolutely incredible. Over here you'll see more abandoned cars. No plates, no stickers, so they couldn't be ticketed. But the Barangay aren't leading the team here anyway. I'm just walking around by myself. I don't know why, but the Barangay keep leading the team to roads that are pretty much already clear. So they're only issuing like 1 or 2 tickets.